So I guess I will preface here because it was mentioned to me. Um, while I do put in the comments, put your questions there so we can answer them live during our live session. If you wish to keep your question less public, always feel free. You can reach out to us on Messenger. Um, if I don't see it during the live session, um, I can always get back to you, or we can save it for the next session as well, whatever you prefer. So a couple different ways that you can put those questions in. And as always, we usually put on the day of in our story as a spot where you can submit your questions as well. Just in case you don't want your name connected in the comment section to the question itself. I get some health and fitness questions can sometimes have a little either embarrassment or emotions connected to it. Um, I know from experience, a lot of times people ask questions for their spouse, even though they don't necessarily want their spouse to know that they're asking for them for that purpose. So you can always submit it there. And like I said, if you don't want to do it during the live session, you can send us a DM. We can discuss it separately just during that, just you and I as well. All right, so as everyone gets in here, again, you can put your questions in. We'll answer them as we go. I wanted to open up today with a fairly common question that comes up, um, partly because, every few months, either one of the big magazines or a news station will do a report or article using research that goes over, ideal time or peak time for uh, doing your training. So one of the most common questions I get is, John, what's the best time of day for me to work out? My first follow-up question to that is, are you a paid athlete or an Olympic athlete or a collegiate athlete? And what I mean there is your day job meant to revolve around being a top performing athlete? And if the answer to that is no, then we go in a different direction, because there is research that says about ideal time of day for different methods of training. However, for the rest of us that aren't peak professional athletes, that are, um, you know, moms, dads, um, just graduating students that are trying to get their careers going, um, empty nesters who finally have the house to themselves and are trying to get control of their schedule again now that it's not revolving around taking kids everywhere to one function or another. Everyone's schedule is a little bit different. So what I say, the best time for you to work out is the time that you can keep a consistent commitment to. The reason why I say that is, people beat themselves up about like, oh, I got to do fasted cardio in the morning because it's the best time to burn body fat. Well, not everyone's schedule is conducive to getting up an extra hour earlier in the morning to fit in a cardio session. I know, I mean, most of my career has not been conducive to that. Usually already getting up at 5 or earlier to prepare and be ready for my day just to get things going. I really don't want to add another hour to that. So, that's never worked well for me unless it was something I had to do for other pursuits. And, other people get to work even earlier than I do. So, trying to do fasted cardio in the morning is not conducive. It's one of those things that sets us up for failure and frustration. If you say like, oh, I'm going to do this time of day for my workout because this research says it's the best time to do it, but it's not easy for you to fit it in at that time. So all you're doing is getting frustrated with yourself for not doing the workout. That's counterproductive. It's going to be more productive for you to pick a time of day that you can consistently achieve that workout on a regular weekly basis so it can become a sustainable habit over time. Because if you can't get to the best time of day for training, it's just not going to matter because you're never going to do it frequently enough for it to have an impact on your health outcomes. You want something that can be done consistently. For strength training, we're looking 2-3 days a week. For other movement, just some sort of movement. It doesn't have to be grueling cardio. It can be playing with the kids. It can be a sport that you enjoy, an activity that you enjoy. It can just simply be going for a leisurely walk during your lunch break. Get a little bit sun exposure to reset some of your circadian rhythms so you can sleep better. Um, Picking times that you can consistently do your activity, do your movement and your exercise will get you success more frequently in the long run than trying to stress about what research says is the best time to work out. Because most of us don't have jobs conducive to push and shift everything in one direction or another to train around those peak times for what the science says. What matters is consistency. Consistency will always trump ideal or peak or preferred anything. Simply because if you do something regularly enough, it will have an impact. And that's really what comes down to it. When we're looking at weight loss, if we're looking at strength improvements, if we're looking at increases in stamina and just performance in general, it takes consistent stimulus over time to make the body change. If you do it here and there, kind of piecemeal, and it's very inconsistent and infrequent, the body, like, you'll get sore, but the body's going to be like, oh, that sucked. But then if it's another week or more before it happens again, the body's not going to make that many adaptations to improve. Whereas if you do it one day, you get sore, the body's thinking, well, that wasn't fun. Then 2 days later, you're doing something at that level again. I was like, okay, we're serious now. Let's start making this a little bit easier. So it's going to increase your blood cell capacity. It's going to increase your circulation capacity, your oxygen uptake. It's going to increase some of your muscle mass and muscle endurance to make what you're doing easier so it doesn't shock it as much. But you have to do it consistently to create change. That's usually what most people struggle with. It is understanding that you have to be consistent and frequent in order to stimulate the body's change processes to actually occur. One intense workout a week, even if it's at that ideal time for training, isn't going to get the physiological changes that most of us are looking for, whether we're trying to lose weight, whether we're trying to increase our muscle mass, or if we're trying to improve our stamina so we can keep up with the kids, because they keep begging us to go to the park and we really are leery about getting winded out in public. You've got to do that stimulus on a frequent basis in order to see the body change. So pick a time that you can be consistent with your workouts and your activity to see that success. Don't beat yourself up about trying to pick a peak training time when it's just never going to fit in your schedule. What matters is a consistent, sustainable habit to breed that success and build on that from there. Because, like, time and time again, consistency trumps just about any other variable of training, of diet. Uh, Anyone who can stay consistent with something will see success in the grand scheme of fitness. Um, Picking a diet plan, maybe you're not drastically reducing your calories, but you can maintain it consistently and it's providing enough nourishment for your body to optimally function, and it's not going excess in calories. You'll see progress over time, especially if you can compare that with some consistent activity and workouts over time. It's the biggest rate of return, because if we build sustainable habits that we're not beaten we don't have to beat ourselves up about fitting in or getting frustrated with, that allow us not only to achieve success, but then keep it long term. The reason why a lot of programs that people have done in the past that I end up working with, the reason why they failed on those is because it was so grueling and so demanding for 30, 60, 90 days to follow, that at some point, all you can think about is, God, I can't wait until this program's done so I can quit doing it and going back to the easy stuff. And the challenge is, like, yes, you can see a lot of changes if you're beating yourself up for 30, 60, or 90 days. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why they sell so well, is because they do have success in achieving goals. The problem is if you don't continue to do any components of that program after that, you're going to slowly regress back to where your starting point was. Whereas if we can do moderate, consistent changes and build on that success over time, not only will you see results, it's easier for you to consistently keep it long term. That's the reason why we have so many clients that enjoy staying with us and enjoy being able to keep up what they learned with us, even on their own after working with us. And so just remember, don't beat yourself up about the best time of day. Pick the time you can keep the commitment consistent. It's the reason why I always say to be consistently persistent in your pursuit of health. Hope that helped answer some questions and cleared up some things. If you're watching this on the replay, have any other questions, throw them in the comments. I'll get those going when we start our live session next week, again, every Tuesday at 5. And again, stay consistent in your pursuit of better health.